Same show, different day. Both horrors, French and Russian revolutions, were the consequence of communism. Of course, isms are all the same. The first consonant is always irrelevant. It was only a difference in terms of the scale and ambition of the slaughter in the 20th century compared to the 18th, mostly because the mechanisms weren't there to get the job done to the same extent. Note to self, if you can find affiliation to the Fabian Society in the biography of a once or would-be leader, then know too that that individual considers you and me the carbon that must be reduced, the freedom that must be ended. At the peace conference in Yalta in 1945, US President Franklin Delano Roosevelt and British Prime Minister Winston Churchill granted psychopath Joe Stalin, and they knew then, even as they downed champagne and vodka with him, that he was a psychopath. They granted that monster half of Europe, half of the continent, thereby condemning hundreds of millions of souls to slavery and murder when there was absolutely no need to permit any such thing. They could have stopped it. They could have prevented it ever happening. Unknown hundreds of thousands, at least, fled before the rising black tide of Soviet rule in the East, desperate to cross into the West, across the line before they were submerged in it, only to be turned back by machine guns manned by Allied forces, serving Stalin's murderous desires. That's what we did then. All of that is on our account as well as Stalin's. Stalin declared that there were no Russian refugees waiting in displaced persons camps in the West, that those people were only deserters. And the Allies, which is us, dutifully stood by while Stalin's forces entered those camps and rounded up his prey and marched them, sometimes at bayonet point, onto trains that took them into oblivion. Many of those souls committed suicide on the way, rather than face what awaited them. Ask yourself why that happened, why we acted that way. In both cases, both the French and Russian revolutions, Christians were prime targets for torture and murder, as the revolutionaries, same communist ideology, different outfits, took that same old revenge on those that would be free.